relax and chill. Grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea, 'cause you're listening to No Table Talk.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to No Table Talk. It is I, your boy, Otnba. Before I get into it today, I want to welcome, if it's the first time listening, if it's the first time watching, I'm always excited for new eyes and for new ears. So I want to welcome you specially. And thank you for tuning in. This is No Table Talk, and I am your humble host. It's been a minute. Actually. Transitioning. There's been a lot of transitions. I moved, as you can see, new space, amongst other transitions in my life. But I'm settling. I'm settled in Jesus' name. So I'm like, you know what? Let me get back to work, get back to recording. And by God's grace, the episodes would continue to roll along, continue to flow. Before I get into what I want to talk about today, I wanted to make it a point of duty to mention something, like something I would want to mention every time I record an episode, because I noticed from feedback, and also I just noticed from this that I do and the tone that I use and the topics that I discuss, I thought it would be wise to give a disclaimer. And like I said, I'll make it a point of duty to give this disclaimer every single time. I wanted to give a disclaimer. I know that a lot of the things I say, especially in the nature in which I say them, it could sound very instructive. It could sound like I have the solutions. I'm giving solutions to the problems of life. Far from it. I do think there are solutions. There are solutions that I have found, the solutions that I have stumbled on, and that have worked for me. And I'm privileged to be in positions where I can prefer those solutions or give insights to other people. And by God's grace, it has worked for them as well. And that gives me the confidence to say certain things in a public sphere like this, record certain things and put it out, because I know the credibility of what I say, not by my power, not by my might, but by the grace of God. And also because I know that I am called to a sect of people, a particular group of people, particular group of generation, especially concerning the topics I talk about, things pertaining to life as a growing human being, as a young person, as a growing young person that is understanding life every day, that is going through his struggles, that is going through his obstacles, stumbling sometimes, recovering, so on and so forth. You feel me? And yeah, I also wanted to give that disclaimer that I don't know everything. And every day I am definitely reminded of the fact that I don't know everything. And I'm figuring life out every single day. And God is really helping me. And as He's helping me, as I am figuring things out, I am learning. I'm making a conscious effort to learn, so that the ditches I recover from or avoid, I avoid them completely along the line, and I help other people avoid them. You feel me? So that's the disclaimer I want to give. The words that come out of my mouth are not the final authority. Only one person has the final authority, and that is God. And even though I believe that my tongue is like the pen of a ready writer, and I know it is, at the end of the day, I'm human. And me saying this also gives room for the mistakes I make on a daily basis, or the mistakes I could make in the future. You feel me? So I was going to give that disclaimer. Do not take this as the be-all, end-all of what life should be. Do not take this as the final authority on life. Do not take anything I say as what I believe is the truth and nothing but the truth. It is what I believe it has been my truth, and I could get further clarity down the line that could inform my truth, that could affirm my truth, or could deny my truth and lead me to more truth. But with that being said, everything I say, I believe, comes from a place of objective introspection. And like I always say, everything I say, I'm the first partaker. You feel me? So I need to put that disclaimer out there. Though in a subsequent podcast, I would say it in a more shortened, abridged version. But I wanted to take this opportunity to flesh that out fully. You feel me? So on that note, once again, if you're new here, welcome. And if you're not new, welcome as well. All right, let's get into it. You know, one thing I found pretty annoying? It is just annoying that there are certain people, that can just affect your mood. And it is even more annoying that there are people that you choose, that you've given the power, that you love so much, that could hold your mood or your temperament in their hands. You feel me? It's pretty annoying. It comes with loving people. It comes with having relationships. It comes with bringing people into your personal space. It comes with making connections. I'm also aware of the fact that I also have been privileged to be put in positions where I have a large effect on how people's moods could be. The words that I say, my own mood could affect other people's moods or certain people's moods based on the relationships I have with them. And the more I encounter situations like this, or the more I'm in a situation where someone just being sad makes me sad, or someone's attitude just has such a huge effect on my mood, the more I realize that at the end of the day, nobody can really satisfy you. Really. Your happiness cannot be hinged on any man. At the end of the day, your happiness cannot be hinged on any man or any human being. Your happiness has to be from within, from yourself. I'm constantly warned that I can't afford to hinge my happiness on anybody and make them the alpha and the omega of how I feel, of what mood I am in. And like I said at the beginning, even though they could be in positions where they are afforded that privilege, but it's also my personal responsibility to make sure that I also have a source of happiness that is within. I'm reminded that nobody can be everything to you. That position is reserved for one person, and that is God. No human being can fully satisfy. The other day I put on my story was a quote was a line from a song, and it said, "You are both my desire and my satisfaction." And that line just blew my mind. And people responded, and people were like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "I'm talking about God," because the song was about God. And it really dawned on me that at the end of the day, only one person can fill that space. Only one person can be both your desire and your satisfaction. You feel me? Only God can do that. So I realize every day that no man, and I remind myself, because when I remind myself that, it helps me cut people some slack. It helps me have more realistic expectations. It helps me react to situations better. It helps me to be not so reactive. You feel me? It helps me to be objective in certain situations. Reminding myself that at the end of the day, we're humans dealing with other humans. The same way, nobody can be everything for me. Nobody can really satisfy me. Nobody can give me the unwavering source of happiness that I need. It's the same way I cannot do it for somebody else. And the reason that balance is important to think about is because not only does it help you cut other people's slack, but it helps you give them grace. It also helps you realize that at the end of the day, you may not have to, you don't have to try to attain what is impossible. Because I think that I can see how a lot of people could fall into the trap of trying to make somebody happy. And I'm sure we can all like relate to where some people try to make us happy. They try to do everything. They try to be there. They try to be okay. They try to blah, blah, blah. And sometimes it could just come across as annoying. And they could be doing worse than, than they think they are doing. They could be making matters worse. They could be making the situation much worse. They could even be, they'll be annoying you even more. And you're like, bro, just leave me alone, man. You feel me? It's almost like every day I'm reminded that not every situation or every squabble will be solved by a mutual conversation. Like both parties don't have to meet in the middle. Both parties don't have to contribute towards making each other feel better. Both parties should be able to go find happiness on their own and just come together and start over, resume sometimes. And trust me, I'm not negating the need to be able to talk things out and have conversations. I, for one, even though I like my quiet time and I like a lot of the time actually to just sit down and just be my thoughts and just chill. But I like to resolve. I like to talk things through. And a lot of that conversation even happens within me, in my head. I think things through, I resolve things. And when it pertains to somebody else being in the picture, when the opportunity to actually talk things out presents itself, I don't mind that happening at all. I'm not the kind of person, so long as I'm not the kind of person to shy away from tough conversations. And let me just put it that way. So I'm not negating that at all, but I'm reminded that at the end of the day, not everything would be sorted by tough conversations, really. So not everything will be sorted by tough conversations because sometimes we just don't have the capacity to. Even having those tough conversations, sometimes you're assuming that you know all the factors that are at play in that context. You're assuming that you are properly aware of every aspect of the situation. Meanwhile, that is definitely not always the case. As human beings, we have so much going on. So much going on in our heads, in our hearts, in our lives. So much we cannot articulate. So much that even we may not understand. Talk less of somebody else even being made aware of it. And all of that comes into play when somebody has to think, somebody has to react, somebody has to speak. Yeah, I say all of that to say that at the end of the day, we have to be happy on our own. We have to be able to find happiness on our own. And recently, I've been thinking of how to do that, really. I understand being able to just be happy on your own. I understand. I get it logically. But I'm like, what practical steps could one take to where they can make sure that within they're good, where they can make sure that their lives are not centered around other people or centered around other external factors. My father says something, and it's something I've heard him encourage a couple of times, but recently I found myself needing that encouragement. My father usually encourages you having me time, not just downtime. And he's always very particular about it. Shout out to my father, by the way. God bless you, Daddy. He always emphasizes me time, not downtime. No rest time, me time. And I hear him say it all the time, and I understand what it is, but recently I thought about it a little bit further because I realized that that's what I needed to. Me time. Me time being that you make yourself the main character of your life once again. It's necessary sometimes to just be on your own, in your own world. Prioritize yourself. Make yourself the center of your thoughts. Make yourself the motivation of your feelings. Make everything that you're doing, everything that you're feeling, everything that you're thinking geared towards the betterment of yourself. Make yourself the subject of the equation. And it's funny that we have to be reminded of this sometimes, because I feel like a lot of the time it's the opposite that we hear all over the place. You should not be self-centered. You should think about others, which is true. Hell, I've even talked about, I've had episodes where I've encouraged that. I've had episodes where I talk about kindness and I'm like, the key part of kindness is thinking outside yourself, how your actions affect others and all that good stuff. I don't want to go too deep into it. So that is very important. But I think sometimes we also need to remind ourselves that we are the first person. Because when you think about it, like the number of times you think about other people, the number of times you think about how other people are feeling, the number of times you think about other people's situations, other people's issues, especially when it hits closer to home, family, friends, loved ones, spouse, partner. They're just in your thoughts, really. Even when you think about yourself, you think about yourself as a reflection of who they are, of what they do, of what they're going through. You feel me? You think of yourself in the context of them. And recently, I found myself having to have me time where I just make myself the focus, do things that make me happy, do things that make me calm down, make me at peace, decongest, be in a quiet place. You feel me? And I think that's important to do, to have me time. Like I said, this is not quiet. This is not downtime. This is not rest time. This is me time. Underlining me. Me time. Find your happiness. Find your happiness. Find yourself. Because a lot of the times we could get lost. We could get lost in the midst of, there's so much going on in the world, man. We could get lost in all of that. We could get lost in all of that. Our true selves could be so diluted by everything else that we have nothing to fall back on. We're so affected by external factors that the core of who we are is so fragile that it has no legs to stand on. It has no legs to stand on. And I'd even say this is even very important for people that, because I know there are people who, there are people who naturally can just be on their own. They like their space. I'm one of those people. I could just like my space. I don't mind being on my own. I like to go back and recharge. But there are people on the opposite side of that spectrum who love the company, love the conversation, love the banter, love the other energy. But because you love it, doesn't mean doesn't affect you negatively as well. The me time is necessary. The me time is necessary. And I was thinking about it and I'm like, a lot of us, like, we could be having this me time, and even us having this me time, having this alone time, our thoughts are still going to everybody else. And I'm like, that's even more reason why you need the me time. And people could think that, their thoughts wandering and their thoughts going to everybody else could even drive them out of their me time and into the arms of those people and just drive them out of their own world and back outside their bubble. You feel me? But I would even say, if anything, that should mean the opposite. It's almost like withdrawal symptoms. When you're weaning yourself off the external factors and your mind is just gravitating back to them. More reason why that me time is for you. That me time is for you. I guess that's my encouragement today. For us to have me time. For us to find your happiness. I think everybody could use some me time. Everybody could use some me time. Husband, you could use some me time. I'm not married, but my life so far has informed me that I probably even need it more when I'm married. You need to just decongest, just because. There doesn't even have to be a reason, because sometimes things could just compile without you knowing, and then they don't become so apparent until they are right in your face. But sometimes everybody just needs to just decongest. Everybody just needs to go back to home base. Go back to home base. Recharge. Do halftime. You need to suck away and do halftime. Somebody just needs to do halftime. Go back, recharge. Come back out firing. If you know what I'm saying. So let's find our own happiness. Let's make sure that at our core we are good. We are good. We're not lost. We're not lost. We're not so engulfed by everything else that we don't have legs to stand on our own. Let's make sure that our identities are not subjective or are not subject to anything. Let's make sure they're not subject to anything on the outside. Let's make sure that in the middle, we are good. In the middle, we are strong. In the middle, we are happy. In the middle, we are happy. Yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. That's it for me. That's all I had to say today. I also noticed that I never really encourage, I never really publicize, man. I need to do better, man. I never really publicize, I never really push for content, but I'm going to start pushing for content. So you guys, subscribe. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. If you are watching on YouTube, subscribe. If you are listening, I know there are different terminologies and different platforms, but subscribe. If you subscribe, like, share. You can post on your stories. You can share to somebody. You can, like, share. The numbers are not the reason why I do this, but the numbers do feel good. I can't even lie. Yeah, and they're encouraging as well. So, and outside the publicity, I feel like more people need to hear the words that come out of my mouth in all humility. I feel like more people need to hear the words that come out of my mouth. Like I said, this is not just me speaking my wisdom. I'm aware of that. And this is not just me speaking blindly. My tongue is the pen of a ready writer, for sure. And I feel like more people need to hear. Like I said, I'm even the first partaker of everything I say. So even I enjoy it, even I learn from it. The fact that I record these things is even, don't let me go too deep into it, sure. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. And see you in the next episode. All right. Peace. Bye.
Sit back, relax, and chill. Grab a glass of wine or a cup of tea, 'cause you're listening to No Table Talk.